Hello everyone, my name is Kiara Johnson and today I'm going to be talking about the TV show that I chose for my TV show analysis, which is Orange is the New Black. You can find it on Netflix. I did it on the very first episode of the whole series. Overall, the show is about a fictional prison known as Litchfield Minimum Security Prison. It follows the journey of many female inmates and also some of the guards that work at the prison. Some of the inmates are Piper, Red, Alex, Daenerys, Tasty, and then some of the guards are Caputo, Healy, and Mendez. The show often goes back in time and shows the lives before these females got to prison and also focuses on their lives while in prison. On episode 1, we're introduced to Piper, who is the main character of this whole series. We are introduced to her family and her fiance Larry. It also shows us her life before prison and what caused her to end up in prison, which was illegal trafficking of money with her former ex-girlfriend Alex. On this episode, we watch Piper turn herself into Litchfield Minimum Security Prison, and we also watch her realize that she's serving time with her former ex-girlfriend that she committed these crimes with. I decided to relate this episode to Chapter 7, Crime, Deviance, and Social Control. In Chapter 7, it talks about correction systems, and Litchfield would be considered a correction system. It also talks about nonviolent crimes, and the crime Piper committed would be considered nonviolent because she didn't use force or threat when committing the crime. On episode 2, we are introduced to Red, who runs the kitchen, and in this episode, Piper accidentally says in front of her that the food is horrible, and Red takes so much offense to it that she tells everybody in the kitchen and all of her friends not to let Piper eat anything, like none of the meals, not even out of the vending machines when visiting her fiance. Piper spends this episode trying to get on Red's good side and trying to find different ways to be on the in-group again. Eventually, she creates this soap with some things from commissary, and the soap helps with Red's back pain, so allows her to eat again after getting this. I related this episode to Chapter 6, Groups and Organizations. In this chapter, it talks about different types of groups and leaders. Red would be considered an authoritarian leader because she gives out commands and everyone follows. The groups that she has would be considered a primary group because a lot of these females consider this group as family. They interact every single day, and sometimes it's the only interaction they get because they don't have actual family that calls them or visits them. It also talks about conformity, and Piper spends this whole episode trying to conform to be part of the in-group again. She even says to Red at one point, like, slap me if you want to, I won't fight back. Like, I just want to be able to eat again and be on the in-group. On episode 3, we are introduced to Sophia, who's a transvestite. We learn about her journey of becoming a female and how it caused her to be estranged from her son and also kind of ruined her marriage, but the wife supports her anyways, even though it wasn't what she wanted to happen. We also watch the newbies, which are Piper and Daenerys, get sent to their living headquarters. Piper goes to white suburbs and Daenerys goes to Spanish Harlem. I related this chapter to chapters 3 and 11, which were about race and culture and ethnicities. In chapter 3, we learn about different cultures, and we also learn about subcultures. The groups and the living headquarters would be considered a subculture because the Spanish Harlem and the white suburbs each have their own individual culture while still being part of the bigger culture, which is the prison culture. In chapter 11, it talks about segregation. You can tell by the names of these living headquarters that the prison is segregated by race and ethnicity. And I believe that they do that because they believe Black people have similar views and similar cultures, so they will get along, and same goes for white people and Spanish people. They believe it will keep the peace in the prison. After watching all 3 episodes, I came to the conclusion that they all pretty much have the same culture but different plots to each episode. I believe the main themes are how a female prison operates and the different cultures that go on throughout the prison. I enjoyed watching this show. I mean, I've watched this whole series, but I've never watched the episodes in a way of dissecting them and relating them to what I'm learning. So I thought it was pretty cool. Overall, I think it shows you that not everyone that goes to prison is a horrible person. You know, sometimes people think like, oh, that person went to prison, so they have to be horrible, have done a horrible crime, but sometimes all it takes is really one mistake, and I think that this show does a good job of portraying that. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.